Welcome back to our Giro d'Italia playthrough on PCM 25. In the last episode, we took on the first 7 stages of this Giro with the Rockets, because I wanted to find out if we could win a stage with Dylan Groenewegen. And well, we already succeeded on day 1, so mission complete. And after achieving my goal with that team, I want to try and mix things up by switching team after week 1. Now, going into the second week of this Giro, INEOS has actually taken quite some hits. First of all, their jersey sucks. But next to that, Tijmen Arendsman is their only GC rider left because Bernal is gone. He's in 31st position on 8 minutes, so I think it's time we save Netcompany INEOS. Basically, by the end of the second week, I want to get Arendsman onto the podium of GC, and I'd like to win a breakaway stage with Bernal, which should be possible with those stats, you know? I do think the 42km flat time trial will help a lot for Tijmen Arendsman to go for that podium bid. But of course, he's not exactly the best climber in the world, so on the mountain stages, I'm a little bit worried. And I reckon for the Bernal stage win, stage 11 and 14 might be the best candidates. But hey, we are starting off with stage 8, basically the Muri stage of this Giro, so punchy hills. The favorite is Jonas Vingegaard, and I think it might be too hard for a versatile sprint with Ben Turner, so I reckon I'll go in the breakaway. Every single time I try to attack on this stage, the peloton is catching me, so I don't think they want Bernal in the breakaway. And while the last 40 kilometers are pretty hard, Ben Turner has 76 hill stat on the day, so maybe it's worth going for him. Oh, crash in the peloton with GC riders Jai Hindley, Pellizzari as well right here, and Pellizzari is abandoning the Giro. Wow, that is a massive blow for Red Bull and the race. Now, I was a bit worried when I saw an 11-man breakaway up the road, but in the peloton they are steaming forward, both Bahrain and Visma, so I don't think the break's winning. We're now in the last 50 kilometers, so the hill zone has begun, and the gap towards the breakaway is down to 148, so yeah, it's slowly but surely falling apart up here. We're slowly but surely getting closer to the final, basically 1.5 kilometers left before a false flat uphill sprint, and Connor Swift is almost done for, so Svestad Botsing can start pacing. Onto the Capo d'Arco climb, 3.3 kilometers, 6.4%, and the breakaway is only 30 seconds ahead now. And there we go, just before the top they are caught, so Hay can now take over on 85. Botsing is basically done for when it comes to today. Honestly, over the top, and our team is in full control, but we do have attacks by Butrago, for example, but I don't think that's going anywhere. There we go, Butrago is getting caught. Hake is now pacing on 97, but the steep section is coming right here. The start of the Fermo climb, and these first few meters are super steep. There comes a move by. Is that Butrago again? Yes, indeed. Let's go up to 95, I think, on Mr. Sheffield, but I can't go too hard because I need a sprint on my guys, on both Turner and Gunnar, and that is actually working, so are we riding to a stage win? 2 kilometers to go, perfect lead out as we speak on 99 by Sheffield. Let's go and sprint with him, why not? On the cobbles, Bernal can launch, Turner in the wheel about to launch as well. We got Gunnar here as well. What is this? Is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That is crazy. I haven't seen this before in a long time. Jonas Vingegaard sprints to 6th position, and actually, I should probably put Mr. Sheffield on 0 to try and extend the gap here. There we go. Like, to be clear, we're playing on a difficulty higher than extreme, so this should not be happening. Anyway, our goal was to save the Giro of INEOS, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on stage 8 is the perfect start to that. We've got our first stage win. And next to that, we move up in GC with Arendsman from 6th position to 5th, so crawling closer to that podium. Like, it's only a 14-second time gap, but at the end of the day, it counts. Especially when the gaps in GC are relatively small, like Felix Gall is only 6 seconds ahead of us. That said, I think the next stage fits him better. On to the second mountain stage of this Giro, to Corno alle Scale with a bit of a Vuelta-style stage. I would call this a hockey stick parkour with an exponentially increasing gradient on the final climb. Only 78 mountain on Tijmen, so a bit of a struggle, I think. Quite a few riders starting to jump into the breakaway, to the point that I'm considering joining with Bernal, because that might lead to a breakaway victory. So there goes Connor Swift and Bernal. And actually, in the peloton, Visma doesn't seem to care, so that is great. And even more riders are trying to bridge towards the breakaway, so in total, roughly 26 riders up the road. That sounds to me like a winning breakaway. We're just about halfway the stage, and the break's gap is up to 8 minutes 17, which is important because Egan Bernal is on 7 minutes 35 in GC at the moment. That said, we are not the closest rider in GC. There is Warren Barguil on 5 minutes 38, so he's in the virtual Maglia Rosa. But hey, if the gap keeps growing and we drop Barguil on the final climb, then we might take pink. We're now 70 kilometers from the finish line, and the gap gap has reached 11 minutes on the peloton, with Connor Swift also pacing now. He was protecting Bernal so far, but I want to try and extend the gap. It's time for the last 30k now, and Bernal's breakaway has 10 minutes 30 on the peloton, with Connor Swift still pacing in that breakaway on 85, but Bernal with a -1 on the day is not ideal. And you and I both know that I'm pretty bad at controlling both the breakaway and the peloton at the same time. Anyway, on the first of the two climbs, pretty flat towards the top, so I don't think this will be much of an obstacle, but the gap is coming down a little bit to 10 minutes 20 now. Okay, the breakaway is starting to fall apart slowly but surely on this final climb, and I'm doing my own tempo here because it's 10k to the top, and I think I'm one of the best climbers. We are literally catching rider by rider with Egan Bernal, but there is a proper gap up to here, so I'm not liking that. Let's try and focus on the peloton for a second, but they're literally still on the previous climb. But I think with 5 kilometers to go, that the stage win is going to be really difficult, knowing that these 11 riders, some of them still have energy, and my yellow bar is looking pretty bad. But I want to focus on the peloton for a second, because the climb has begun there, and Arensman is in a perfect position. There we go, some more riders scored for Bernal in the last 2 kilometers, but I will not make it to the front, because it's literally a minute 30 to these guys. That said, in the peloton, we're so well positioned and we're so strong with Arensman that I'm literally pacing 85 with 4.5k to go. Bernal is entering the last kilometer, but my energy bar is looking bad, so I gotta drop it to maybe 65. I cannot overpace it here. And by the way, at the front of the race, Markel Bellocchi is winning on Corno Alescali ahead of Brieuc Roland and Chris Harper. But Warren Barguil is finishing just behind them, so he will most likely take the Maglia Rosa. I'm sorry, not most likely, he will take the Maglia Rosa. Come on, Bernal, last few meters, go to the finish line, spend all your energy. There we go, at the finish. And now the tempo in the peloton is going up significantly, actually, to the point that Arensman seems to be slightly bogged behind his own teammate Sheffield, and I'm trying to move up desperately, but it's not exactly working. Buddy, move up! In the last kilometer, finally moving up. We're definitely not taking time, that's for sure, but we are also finishing 25 seconds behind Jonas Vingegaard, who randomly takes some time at the finish line here, but we're definitely finishing in that second echelon of GC riders, so no time loss for Arensman. That said, if I focused on the peloton, maybe I could have taken time here. But actually, it's quite funny. My goal for this episode was getting a stage win with Bernal and getting that podium with Arensman, but Bernal might be higher than Arensman in GC now. Actually, no. Arensman is still in 7th place on 323, and Bernal is 9th on 347, so ay, that's worse than I expected. Arensman losing 2 positions thanks to Roland and Barguil, but also Bernal entering the top 10, which is kind of annoying because he's now too close in GC to maybe go for breakaways. Anyway, all that chaos to the side for a second, it's time for a specialty of Netcompany INEOS in this race, the time trial. 42 kilometers flat, Filippo Ganna is the favorite, Magnus Sheffield is full favorite, and Damon Arensman, one of our GC riders, is 7th favorite, so we should crush this. And I must confess, in a 42k flat time trial with Arensman having 77 time trial stat, we should take a lot of time in GC on random podium competitors. So yeah, let's cook something up. Time for the stage favorite to begin in pretty rainy conditions here. Filippo Ganna with 84 time trial on the day. This is not even a competition. We should win this easily. Anyway, starting roughly on 74 effort, I think that's okay. First time check incoming, and we are first, 26 seconds ahead, so let's keep it that way. Second time check now for Filippo Ganna, and he's first by 49 seconds, so yellow bar a bit lower now, so 75 effort. Ganna at the third time check, and he's destroying everybody by a minute and 11 seconds, so not even close. Let's make sure we spend all his red bar to the finish line. There we go, first time by a minute 10. That is undoubtedly a victory for Filippo Ganna, let's go. But now it's time for the more important riders. Egan Bernal starting his time trial, first of our GC riders, 72 time trial only, so he's doomed. But Damon Arensman is the most important one, and he's got a fantastic day today. 77 plus 3, so 80 time trial. This is amazing. Let's take a look. What is Bernal's first time crossing the line in 2 minutes 30 behind? That is so bad. And actually, Arensman is almost there as well, and his time is actually pretty decent, 47 seconds behind Filippo Ganna. Then again, maybe I expected better with 80 time trial, you know? Gall is 6 seconds ahead in GC. Let's take a look at the gap, and we are, 2 minutes ahead of him already. And Brieuc Roland is crawling even more to the point that Jai Hindley, a bad time trialist, is passing him, losing 4 minutes. That's crazy bad. Anyway, second time check for Bernal. Let's take a look. Is it 4 minutes? It's 4 minutes 42. That is horrible. Oh, and Arensman was so fast behind him that I didn't even see it. 1:34 back, so that's a decent time trial. And actually, in the last 2 kilometers, and Arensman is now ahead of our man Bernal, so he's been passed. Here's the finish line. Let's spend all our red bar. Let's go. Bernal, switch. Let's go 99. Perfect. I must confess, I was so focused on finishing with empty energy that I don't know where we finished. Not exactly a surprise, but Filippo Ganna is the winner of the time trial, and Tijmen Arensman finishes 10 von 2 minutes 21. And I think that's gonna be massive for GC. Ooh, we're second! Jonas Vingegaard in the Maglia Rosa by 3 minutes 15 on. Tijmen Arensman, O'Connor 4:21, Barguil 5:12. These gaps are gigantic. I spent the last 2 minutes scrolling down looking for Felix Gall, but I simply can't find him. Oh, right here, losing 7 minutes on this time trial. That is so much. Oi, Brieuc Roland losing 11 minutes on this time trial. That is insanity. But hey, moving up 5 positions into second place of this Grand Tour is the perfect outcome to this time trial for Tijmen Arensman. And actually, it is quite good that Bernal loses some time in GC going to 11th place, because now he can go back into the breakaway. But what a stage, man, what a stage. Talking about breakaway, stage 11 is a medium mountain festival, and I think this might go to the breakaway. So Bernal, it's your turn. So our goal is to join the breakaway, but a -1 on Mr. Bernal is not exactly the greatest start, but let's try and get him into the wheel of Connor Swift and see if we can jump. Lots of riders trying, and I will join them. There we go. Please, Visma, let me go. They're not letting me go. They don't want Bernal in the breakaway. I'll try one more time on the left side of the road, and do we have a response by... Ooh, actually, this corner is blocking me from attacking, but is anyone in the peloton responding? Tonelli is speeding up. Why are you doing that, buddy? I want to see if I can get Ganna into the break as well. So there goes the move by Sheffield and Ganna on the right side of the road. Come on, boys. Do it for me, buddy. Do it for me. Ah, Visma Lisa bike is closing that, and I'm almost closing the attack of Bernal myself. So let's sit up there to make sure Bernal gets his gap again. But I want to try one more time with Ganna on the left side. Come on, let me go. And we are off. And Ganna is so strong that he's bridging with utter ease to the upper breakaway. And I gotta say, Filippo Ganna in the breakaway, that is a major force. That said, multiple teams in the peloton, Visma, UAE, Red Bull and so forth, are pacing and keeping the gap at 2 minutes. So the break is not won yet. Just about halfway the race now, and the hill zone is starting, and I'm still worried because the gap is still only 2 minutes, and the breakaway is slowly but surely falling apart. First climb done, and the gap is down to 1 minute 30, so it is not looking good at all for this breakaway, but I'm still hoping. I don't think it's over yet. 3k to the top of this second climb, and it looks like Connor Swift is about to drop, so Ganna can take over when it comes to protecting Bernal. Now on the plateau section on top with a downhill coming afterwards, so Ganna can start pacing for a bit in this 7-man breakaway. Gap is back up to 2 minutes 15. I am not confident in this breakaway at all. 24 kilometers to go now on the second last climb, and Ganna is here. He was pacing all the time, but can now go back to protecting Bernal because the others are pacing. But in the peloton, the tempo is going up so significantly that I'm actually losing positions with Arensman, so we need to get to the front again. Arensman is moving up a little bit, but still not in a very good position, so we gotta fix this. Come on, breakaway, Ganna to the front to start pacing directly. 1 climb to go. It's not the longest in the world, so Bernal, you can do this. I believe in you. There we go. On to that final climb on 87 with Ganna. 88. Why not? Bernal in the wheel. 1 minute 20 to the peloton. So I think it might be possible now. There come some moves in the peloton by Jai Hindley on the left side of the road. I've got myself on 96 here, but I gotta watch the breakaway. I have to watch the breakaway because the stage win is on the line. 2.5k to the top. The gap is down to 50 seconds. Come on, boys. Ganna is doing a lead out into the last kilometer of this climb, and I'm gonna try and attack away as soon as possible, and looks like people are dropping off my wheel automatically, so that's good. There goes Bernal to the top. Ganna can sit up. We've got a gap of 45 seconds to the peloton, so the Bernal stage win might be here. 99 into the downhill, buddy. Keep on going, Egan. Meanwhile, Tijmen Arensman goes over the top in this peloton, so that is great. Come on, Bernal. Gap is 40 seconds. We've got it. We've got the win. In the last 1.5 kilometers, and Ganna could even sprint to second position here, but my focus is on Egan Bernal at the moment. He's going to be winning a Giro d'Italia stage on the Paper District stage, and Ganna can try and sprint for... Actually, where are the rest? Okay. That went pretty badly because Ganna is certainly in Narnia, but doesn't matter too much. We got our stage win, so I'm super happy. Like, our goals going into this video are pretty simple. Getting a stage win from the breakaway with Egan Bernal, checked off, and our other goal was getting a podium in GC with Arensman, and at the moment, that's looking pretty fantastic. Still in that beautiful second position in GC with them and Arensman, and Bernal is now 9th in GC on 7 minutes and 11 seconds, so both in the top 10. Gotta say, we don't have to just give credit to Bernal, because without Filippo Ganna, I don't think this breakaway makes it to the line, so credits to him. Oh, stage 12 doesn't exactly fit our riders, a flat sprint. But I think I need to try and make these two climbs in the middle of the stage a little bit harder in the hopes that Jonathan Milan gets in trouble or something. Oh snap, starting off with a +2 on Tam and Arensman. I wish this was a mountain stage. So the climbs are starting and Haig is now trying to get to the front to set tempo, but the other teams are doing it for me, so I'm not exactly getting my work done. Oh, I think it's because all these teams are trying to go for the intermediate sprint, wasting the energy on their sprinters, so this might actually play in my favor. What I'll try to do is fly past the sprinters after the intermediate sprint and try and shred it right now to put them into trouble after already sprinting. Looks like Jonathan Milan is falling through the group, but it's also just the top of this climb, so I think he'll survive. The next climb is about to begin, but I think my plan is completely failing because my own team is looking pretty bad right now with limited energy on Turner as well, so I might drop myself. Yeah, what I'm doing is pretty much stupid because Filippo Ganna is pacing so hard that Turner is literally perishing in his wheel right now. Wait a second, out of all the people that's dropped, Warren Barguil 4th in the general classification is off the back? Also Ethan Vernon, so at least we dropped one sprinter. Anyway, 32 kilometers to go and my 4 riders in the peloton are Bernal, Arensman, Ganna and Turner, so not exactly your conventional lead out, but we've got energy, so that's good. In the last 8 kilometers right now, Bernal is actually struggling when it comes to his yellow bar, so that's not fantastic, and I'm struggling with my position, so that is not good either. So let's try and maybe switch towards Arensman now on 85 and get Bernal out of the way because I don't want him to drop from the peloton. Last 2.5 kilometers, Arensman almost done with the lead out. Ganna takes over now with 2 kilometers to go. Arensman out of the way on automatic actually because I want you to survive, so let's try and get into the wheel of, I don't know, man. Try to follow anyone. Maybe Mikkels? We've got Ganna launching a sprint right now. Turner in the wheel is ready as well, so he launches now. And we've got Ben Turner versus Lund Andresen. And Ben Turner easily wins this stage. What a amazing second week for INEOS. And I've got a feeling that nuking those climbs gave me this victory. Is that our 4th stage win in 5 days? That is crazy. It is quite funny that there's a change in GC on the sprint stage. We dropped Warren Barguil, so he drops from 4th position to 11th, so Bernal moves up to 8th. And actually, after the sprint stage, Ben Turner is now very close to the Ciclamino jersey, so that's pretty cool. And on top of that, looking at stage 13, I think we might be able to try something similar because this stage fits us. But I gotta drop the pure sprinters on that climb first. So, 30 kilometers to go, the breakaway of 5 riders is about to be caught by the peloton and my train for the mountain, or the hill at least, is set up. So, I want to make that hill hard, but also I want to survive with Turner. So yeah, the perfect balance. Okay, on to the first climb, 2.4 kilometers, 6%. This is not the hardest one of the day, so it's all about staying in position on this one. But actually, UAE Team Emirates is shredding it to the point that I'm having to go 93.94 with Haig to follow this tempo. Anyway, just like that, over the top and still in position, but let's try to recover a bit before the next climb. Now it's time for the next climb, and this one is a bit longer, 4.5 kilometers, 7.5%. Haig is almost done for when it comes to his energy, so Svestad Botsing can almost take over on, let's do 92, something like that. Let me drop that to 87 because Mr. Turner is starting to struggle with the tempo and I don't want that. Oh, that's an attack by Jonathan Narvaez for the stage win, so gotta make sure I can follow now. Come on team, follow, follow, follow. Turner in a bit of trouble, but I think Milan will be as well. There we go, over the top right now. Let's go 99 over the top with my gang. Turner is still in the wheel, almost, so this is perfect. And Jonathan Milan is dropping over the top and the rest of the sprinters as well, so this is perfection. 12k to go, and we're looking good again. Last 5.5 kilometers, Bernal doing a perfect lead out right now. Turner with the energy gel. Sheffield about to take over after this corner. That is perfection. I actually think we have too many riders, but Arensman can now go on 99 and start his sprint right now with Ganna in the wheel. Ganna is ready to launch as well right now. Turner with 1.3, 1.2 right now under the 1k banner, and Turner is gonna win again against Morgado and so forth. Yes, indeed. That is our 5th stage win in 6 stages. This is ridiculous! We literally took control of INEOS and we're dominating this race! Back-to-back victories for Ben Turner after a masterclass in versatile sprints by INEOS. And wait a second, there's a change in GC. Bernal is now in 7th place instead of 8th. Yes sir, Jay Vine lost some time, dropped from 7th to 11th, so Egan Bernal is now 7th in GC. And of course, because of that second stage win in a row, Ben Turner is now in Chiclamino, so that is glorious. But after going in the breakaway for most of this week, I'm actually gonna stay in the peloton for stage 14, a mountain stage, 135 kilometers, and it's all about retaining that second place in GC with Tijmen Arendsman. And with 78 mountain, that will not be so easy. So let's start off by getting our boys to the front on roughly 85 to just stay in position, but I'll drop it down on Arendsman to 75 to make sure he does not overextend. Let's get ourselves protected with Mr. Ben Turner for Arendsman, and Arendsman starts with 80 mountains, so that's quite good. Gotta say, it does hurt a bit seeing so many riders going in the breakaway here today with almost the entire team of UAE Team Emirates. It makes me question whether staying in the peloton with Bernal was a good choice here. Honestly, I'm changing my mind. 3 minutes, 4 minutes is the gap to the breakaway, but I'll try to bridge it on this first climb, and Kilich does not like that, buddy. Kilich, you're not good enough to follow me. Goodbye, my friend. In the last portion of the climb, and the gap is down to 2 minutes 40 from 4 minutes, so we're getting closer, and in the peloton, they are dropping their tempo, so they've realized Bernal is not catchable for them, and Bernal is off. The question is, can I catch the breakaway, or did I attack too late? Bernal has dropped Sheffield and is starting to pass riders from the early breakaway that have dropped, so we're closing in. Oh god, gap in the peloton, Connor Swift, get to the front, buddy, get to the front. We gotta save Arendsman here after this first climb, because 26 riders, including Jonas Vingegaard, are off the front. I'm dropping Sheffield back past the peloton, back to the group of Arendsman, because we're definitely not in a great situation right now. Okay, looks like the gap is close, so that is great. Now let's try and get my boys to the front of the group to make sure this does not happen again. Now halfway the second climb, and Bernal is on 1 minute 20 of the breakaway, so we're getting closer, but it's taking us so much energy to the point that I'm not sure it's worth it. We're now on the second categorized climb, and Bernal is in the second breakaway on roughly 1 minute 30 of the front, but they're pacing so fast that this Bernal attack might have been the stupidest thing I've done this entire episode. Yeah, I'm giving up with Bernal. He's waiting on Arendsman now because he's more useful in the peloton, not in the breakaway, or at least he couldn't get to the breakaway. By the way, this peloton is also only 36 riders on the third last climb, so a tiny peloton. And I'm actually pacing a bit on this second last climb to try and drop some people from my competitors, some domestiques. Yes, Sheffield will also drop, but I've still got Ghana, Haig, Shvesad, Bartsing, and Bernal, so my team is looking strong. Okay, over the top, we literally dropped a single rider, Jul Jensen. That's it, so that might not have been worth it. Anyway, the final climb is about to begin, 16k roughly in length, so a pretty long climb, but the breakaway is still up ahead, 22 riders, so yeah, the break is winning. 8 minutes is the gap to the peloton. Arendsman is looking pretty strong in this peloton though, so I'm quite confident. Okay, the peloton is also on the climb, and Visma Lease bike is already pacing. I'm in a shit position, but that's fine. I'm gonna try and do the lowest possible effort and still stay in the group to make sure I can spend all my energy in the last 5k. Ooh, the elastic is snapping a little bit in front of me, so let's make sure we don't get dropped behind on 85 now with Arendsman, and that is a gap, but it's a steep climb, so draft does not matter as much. The first rider in the top 10 is dropping off our wheel though, so that's great, but Gil is gone. Just about 4 kilometers to the top, and we're getting closer again to the group of GC riders, which is nice, but we're also slowing down because they're fighting for the stage win at the front of the race, won by Giulio Ciccone. 86-85 right now on Arendsman. Hay can almost take over. I definitely bottled this climb, that's for sure, because dropping at the start of the climb there was not the smartest thing in the world. 1k to go in the final stretch, and we're gonna get close to some GC riders here. Derek G. West is about to get surpassed by Arendsman. We might get to the wheel of Mr. O'Connor, but I'm overextending a bit in the final here. This was definitely not a great stage by Arendsman and myself. Gotta say, that outcome was not what I was hoping for, and I don't know what the consequences are for GC, so Let's take a look. Wow, we are now third in GC. Damiano Caruso from the breakaway jumps into second place. Now that's a plot twist I didn't see coming. Looks like we lost 1 minute 30 to Jonas Vingegaard, Felix Gall, Adam Yates, everybody kind of taking time on us, but not too much either. Anyway, the GC says third place, but we're basically virtually in second because Damiano Caruso will fall away in the third week. That does mean we started this week in 6th position and are finishing week 2 in 3rd position with time in Arendsman and 5 stage wins, so a pretty fantastic run. And we also can't forget Ciclamino for Ben Turner. I think it's fair to say we had a pretty successful run in week 2 of this Giro with INEOS, but now it's time to switch teams again. And I think this might be our hardest challenge yet because I want to try and take Little Trek with Derek G in 9th in GC right now and try and find a way to put them on the podium by the end of this Giro. With just about 3 mountain stages left in this Giro, that's gonna be super difficult, but hey, I'm up for a challenge. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.